So, in terms of this week, the schedule is pretty much going to be as similar, as similar as it is to last week. There's some personal things that I'm having to deal with, which means the only thing I can guarantee is putting up this to give as much publicity as I can to the indies. I will try and do a news video at some point over the weekend, before Hell in a Cell. But the TV stuff, I'm just going to have to put on the brakes. Also, I still need to catch up with the finale of Lucha Underground, which, from what I've heard, they went completely using some sort of legal highs, and probably illegal highs, in order to do a what the hell was that sort of ending. And the thing is, the ending the ending that we saw was different to the ending that happened actually at the tapings 13-14 months ago. That ending happened, but then we had the pre-recorded stuff, which, just from looking at the notes, went completely freaking wrong way. Just completely crazy. And the thing is, it might never ever come back, so we're leaving it on a ludicrous, not even ludicrous, like beyond ludicrous, ultra ludicrous ending, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, so it's also time to talk UFC, because I don't think I did last week because of catching up and everything, but it gives me a chance to catch up this week. So the big news, I would argue, GSP and BIS being sort of getting into it at various press conferences to hype up the Garden show in a few weeks. But in terms of the previous shows, the Bellator show from September 21st from San Jose, somewhat of an upset, as Patricky Freire, thanks to pronounce, beat Benson Henderson via split decision. 29-28 across all three scorecards, except 2-1 in favour of Freire instead of Henderson. So So that, I would say, was an interesting upset, because, I mean, at least on paper, I've heard of Benson Henderson. Also, there was some interesting stuff with the kickboxing situation, which I won't fully go into. Kevin Ross became the featherweight champion, and the welterweight belt had a new champion via a mid-first round doctor stoppage. Or perhaps end of the first round, because I think the rounds are only 3 minutes in the kickboxing. So whatever Raymond Daniels did clearly screwed up Kareem Gadji. Kevin Ross beating Domenico Lamorno, if you are interested in that anyway. I guess also as well on the Bellator main fight card, we also had Roy Nelson winning, beating Javi Ayala unanimously. One judge gave it 30-26. Which is a bit crazy, but the other two gave it 29-28, so a bit closer. We also had Paul Daly beat Lorenz Larkin with a mid-second round stoppage via punches. Big old punch knockout late on in the first round gave Aaron Pico the win over Justin Lin, and Gota Yamuchi beat Adam Piccolotti with a mid-first round, or 3 minutes into the first round, rear naked choke submission. So that same day, well, I guess a bit earlier, in Japan, was the Sempru Okami show. Sempru did win that main event with a Von Flue choke within about 2 minutes. The big thing, though, and I didn't remember mentioning this a few weeks back when I did talk about this last time, Hirota basically missed the weight limit, and he was fined the purse for missing the the weight cut of 146 because he came in at 150. But then he got pulled from the fight altogether due to health and safety concerns, because he was really sort of, from what I heard from the people that saw it, he was just out, sort of not in any fit state to compete at all, yet alone make weight and whatever. Also on that card, though, some interesting stuff. Jessica Andrade beat Claudia Gadelha. Pretty unanimous win, because there was a 30-25, a 30-26, and a 30-27. That did get fight of the night, though, so both did get an extra 50 grand. St. Preux also got a performance of the night, 50 grand bonus. And also Gohan Sakai beat Henrique da Silva late in the first round, with only about 15 seconds to go. One old punch and the referee said enough. And then, just to really confuse everything, Dong Hyun Kim beat Takanori Gomi in the first round of his fight. The confusing thing is, he isn't the Korean Zombie, even though he is exactly the same name as Dong Hyun Kim. The Korean Zombie. I don't even know if they're in the same weight division, because if they are, I want them to face each other. Because how did the commentators do that? Not Zombie and Zombie. I don't know. An interesting one as well on the main card of that fight was Teruo Ishihara beating Rolando Dai unanimously, 29-27 and 2 28-27s. The reason why I say it was interesting is because Rolando Dai was deducted 1 point in round 3 due to repeated groin strikes. If that point hadn't been taken away, you had a 29-28, but then 2 28-28s, so it would have gone down as a majority draw. So his foul play lost him that fight. Also, UCA Formiga beat Olka Sasasi with a rear naked choke submission late on in the first. I won't mention the prelims. They all went to decisions, I will say that. In the women's strawweights, Sayori Kondo beat Chanmi Jun. I won't go through the detailed stats as to how it won. And then the other ones, Daichi Abe beat Hyungun Lim, Shinso Anzai beat Luke Jamal, and Kita Nakamura beat Alex Morono. All those three were welterweight fights. So then the big one wasn't even actually the main event. UFC 216. The main event was Tony Ferguson and Kevin Lee for the interim lightweight title. That isn't what stole the show. So, on the prelims, Brad Tavares beat Fales Letes unanimously. And then John Moraga beat Magmedev Bibulatov with a 98-second punch knockout that was good enough to earn him $50,000 bonus on top of the 68 that he got for his match and his win. So he basically doubled his money. Then on the FX prelims, Matt Schnell beat Marco Beltran, unanimous decision. In the women's strawweights, Polania Botello beat Pearl Gonzalez, also via unanimous decision. Lando Venata and Bobby Green went to a split draw. Legit split. Because we had a 29-27, a 27-29, and a 28 all. The reason why, Venata was deducted 1 point in the first round by using an illegal knee strike. Again, if that point hadn't been taken away, that would have been a win, not a draw. But either way, it was a damn good fight, and it was good enough to earn both guys $50,000 each, which, because they drew, there was no win bonus. but because it was Fight of the Night, they both tripled their money. They got 25 and 24, I think, respectively. 50,000 each as well for the Fight of the Night. Not bad, considering they didn't win. And also, then Cody Stamann beat Tom Duquesnoy on split decision. Then we had a majority draw on the main card to open up. Beneil Dariush and Evan Dunham going to the draw. 2 28-28s and a 29-28 for Dariush. But because 2 out of the 3 drew, it's a majority draw, as I said. Mara Barella beat Kalindra Faria in the women's flyweight with a mid-first round rear naked choke. We had a 60-second or so armbar submission for Mauricio Verdum against Walt Harris. It is worth admitting, though, with that, it was supposed to be Derek Lewis facing Verdum. But it got thrown out on the day of the fight because Derek had some back pain from a previous back injury. So Walt stepped in. He was going to be facing Mark Godbeer in a prelims bout, and he just stepped in willing to take the beating. Good on him. I believe as well, from what I heard from reports, Mark Godbeer did get his pay of $15,000 that he was due to get. Obviously, because it was a last-minute change of the card, and it wouldn't be fair for him showing up and not getting any money because of other situations happening. Then I go to the main event because I'm saving the co-main till last because of stuff. Possibly somewhat of an upset because of all the smack talk and everything. Tony Ferguson beating Keith Lee with a triangle choke submission with about a minute left in the 3rd round to get that lightweight title. And then the ridiculous one. Demetrius Johnson beating Ray Borg to retain the flyweight title. Why do I say it's ridiculous? Well, when they do the Best of UFC DVD, or the Best of UFC, TV program on Christmas like they did last year, and to be honest, in the history of UFC productions ever, like in the title credits, the moment that finished this fight will be in it forever. It was a pretty decent enough fight. I know I certainly saw this one because it was recommended by a lot of places, both friends and websites and everything to look at it. So we're getting midway through the 5th round. Johnson's going to win this anyway on points. He's sort of comprehensively beating him. But he isn't able to get that knockout sort of like KO blow or submission. So, he's behind Borg, sort of grappling him. He picks him up, sort of German suplex style. But while throwing him in the air and releasing him, he turns round, grabs Borg's arm, and immediately, mid-air and then coming back to the ground, locks on an armbar submission. To be honest, my words can't do justice enough for it. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of clips of the highlights of that, just one bit of that submission win. It's one of the most incredible feats I've seen. Probably not just in MMA, but in all of sport in 2017. I don't know whether I can classify WWE and wrestling as definitively sport. Cue everybody going, it's a sport. No, it's not a sport. Comment trolls or warmongers, I don't know. But it was ridiculously beautiful. In a way that's like, as I say, when they do the 25th anniversary, 30th anniversary, 40th, 50th, whatever, this bit is going to be in the montage of, like, this is UFC sort of thing. It was like, holy shit. Unsurprisingly for that finish, he also got a $50,000 bonus, which, to be honest, he didn't dramatically need, because he got $370,000 anyway. Admittedly, he didn't get a win bonus because that wasn't in his contract. But, you know, he did get a 50 grand extra, I guess. But, man, that that finish, it's all needs to be said. Also with the UFC, we need to get, well, actually, not just UFC, MMA. Because not only is UFC running this weekend, but also Bellator is. So Bellator running this Friday in Uncasville, Connecticut. The big bout of the card is Jagar Mousasi. His first bout in Bellator after 4 years in the UFC. He's taking on Alexander Shlemenko. The show was scheduled as well to have King Mo in action against Liam McGeary. But he got pulled out of the fight a couple of weeks back due to an undisclosed injury. Part of me is the undisclosed injury is Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory. Who knows? So he was replaced by Bubba McDaniel. But then, the following week, so last week, who he was going to face, Liam McGeary, pulled out because of a thumb injury. So that bout isn't even happening now. There was also a change this week with Brennan Ward being removed from the card due to injury, and David Rickles' bout is now off. So the rest of the card underneath the Mousasi-Shlemenko main event has a lightweight contest with Ryan Quinn versus Marcus Surin. 2 women's flyweight bouts with Anna Juliton and Lisa Blaine, and Hannah Hardy versus Christina Williams. And then, I guess the co-main, which makes sense because it is a name in mixed martial arts. One of the Gracies, this time Nyman Gracie, takes on Zach Bukia, or Busia, I don't know how it's pronounced. That's in the welterweights, and Mousasi-Shlemenko is in the middleweights. So then on Saturday, UFC Fight Night 118, Cerrone versus Till, happening in Gdansk, Poland. At least for US people, it's only going to be available on Fight Pass. I believe, I keep having to check this during the recording. I believe this bout, at least in the UK, is being shown standard. Let's jump to Saturday. Let's see if the UFC is listed. Ooh, it isn't. I take it back. Oh no, it is. There it is. They're showing it on the ESPN channel, BT ESPN, because they're showing boxing on one of the channels, and rugby and football, soccer on the others. Diego. So it is live on one of the subsidiary channels compared to where the UFC stuff's normally. So I guess, just having a quick look at this, nothing real big to note in terms of, I guess the only one was this week was that there was supposed to be a match with Jim Warhead versus the Ultimate Fighter Brazil 3 middleweight winner, Wally Alves. But Warhead got pulled out due to an injury. So newcomer Salim Tuahari replaces him. I guess the other big high-profile one happening was, well, the other two big ones was Jimmy Manuel was supposed to be on this show, taking on Premslaw Masalia. But Masalia basically couldn't resign from whatever contract he was in for Absolute Championship Berkut, whatever that is. So obviously that got thrown out. And the main event was originally supposed to be Thiago Santos and Michael Materla headlining, but basically, right on the 1st of September, Materla basically said, no, I'm not coming to the UFC. Instead, I'm sticking with KSW, which is one of the regional Polish promotions. So instead, Thiago Santos is facing Jack Hermansson next week, which we'll cover next week. So on the prelims, these are sort of in order of when they happen, but also in weight, so they're not dramatic. They're not in the actual order of that they're listed. In the featherweights, opening, we got Felipe Arantes and Josh Emmett. And Artem Lobov versus Andre Fili. Between those two, we've got a women's bantamweight bout with Lena Landsberg versus Aspen Ladd and Salim Tulahari versus Wolvie Alves in the welterweights. Then 4 different weights making up the rest of the prelims. In the middleweights, Sam Alvey versus Ramazan MF. In the bantamweights, we've got Damian Stasiak versus Brian Kelleher. In the heavyweights, Anthony Hamilton goes up against Adam Wichnick. Again, apologies if I'm getting the name wrong there. And in the main event of the prelims, Martin Held and Nasrat Hakparast go in the lightweight division. On the main card, there's only 4 matches set. In the middleweight division, Oscar Pichura taking on Jonathan Wilson. In the light heavyweights, we've got Jan Blankovic and Devin Clark in action. Karolina Kowalczyk takes on Jodie Escobar in the strawweights. And the main event, as titled, Donald the Cowboy Cerrone taking on Darren Till. So that's happening. So then we get to the indie stuff. So we'll going to New Japan first before we go to the rest of it. The Lionsgate show from Shinjuku Face was pretty full. Nearly 500 people in there, which for the building is actually pretty busy. The only ones I'm going to mention are the Young Lions Cup League matches. We had Hawaii Kawato beat Ren Narita with a right high kick. Katsuya Kitamura beat Tetsuhiro Yagi with a jackhammer. And Tomoyuki Oka beat Shota Umino with a Boston Crab submission. So those 3 winners get 2 points. They'll all those 6 will face each other by, I think it's December. From what I remember, like, there's a show, I think, in November or 2 that they're having. And then the rest of it is, like, right before Christmas. So I'm guessing from that the finals might be some part of Wrestle Kingdom, maybe, or perhaps the rest of the show before Wrestle Kingdom that normally has some of the greener guys, if you will. In terms of what's coming up this weekend, there is a Kurikan Hall show, the Road to Power Struggle, in early November. The big stuff of note Well, I guess we've got Oka and Umino teaming up now to take on Yujiro and Leo Tonga. We've also got Liger, Tiger Mask, Taguchi, and ACH versus Kanemaru, Desperado, Taichi, and Taka. Suzuki-gun. Speaking of them, Suzuki and Takashi Iizuka take on Toriyano and Hiroki Goto. Why do they keep hiring this guy Iizuka? He is crap. We've also got Tanahashi, Makabe, and Kitamura taking on Ibushi, Juice Robinson, and Dave Finlay. Then Chaos LIJ collide as Okada, Ishii, and Yoshihashi take on Evil, Sanada, and Naito. And then the first of your two Super Junior quarterfinals happen. Kushida and Hirai Kawato face Sho and Yo, Roppongi 3.0. And Dragon Lee and Titan take on Bushi and Hiromu Takahashi. We'll see what happens as we move closer. Well, we'll see what happens with that, and then I think there's a show also the following week with events. Let me look at the list of when things are happening. Yeah, there's two shows actually on the 29th and the 30th. Which I think are both Kurikan Hall shows, which then transition into Power Struggle on the 5th. Actually, come to think of it, October 29th is a Kurikan Hall show, which will have the other two quarterfinals. And then the 30th will be the semi-final. So the ones that face each other this week, I guess, taking on the ones that face each other the previous day. I'd say that would be fair rather than giving one team that's had way more time than the others. I guess the one big thing to mention, House of Hardcore is going on Twitch. That's the one big bit of news that I would say that's gone down. The big thing is, though, that means that they will be going head-to-head with Wrestle Circus and their show on the same day, I think pretty much at the same time. That isn't awkward at all. Yes, it is. So in terms of the results, the ICW 11th anniversary show opened with BT Gunn beating Kid Fight. Kenny Williams beat Jordan Devlin. Oh, the BT Gunn Kid Fight one, by the way, was a successful retaining of the Zero G title. Then Wolfgang beat Stevie Boy. Then Liam Thompson came out and told the fans that he needs to take 4 months off. But as he was about to continue, Joe Hendry, the prestigious one, wanted to face him in a match. But DCT came out and fought off Joe Hendry. So I guess that's becoming a thing at some point. Bram beat Jody Fleisch. Chris Renfrew beat Mikey Whiplash in the Edinburgh Death match. And then afterwards, the Filthy Generation attack both of them, as well as Jokey. Zach Gibson beat Lionheart. The Purge of Stevie James and Crowbar beat the Kings of Catch of Aspen Faith and Lewis Gervin. Kaylee Ray retained the women's title over Viper and Casey Owens in a three-way, which had a crazy brawl afterwards, of which Mark Dallas had heard enough. So, okay, considering we had to have interference, the only thing that we can stop it with is if we put it in a 15-foot high steel cage. So, Fear and Loathing 10 at the Hydro is getting another cage match just like last year, except this time it's the women inside. And then Joe Coffey beat Moose to retain the world title, so Coffey versus BT Gunn, unsurprisingly, is still on the cards. Rev Pro show in Cardiff from this past Sunday. Chief Deputy Dunn and Lord Gideon Gray beat Aussie Open. Ginny won the freeway against Charlie Evans and Vader Scott. Chris Brooks beat Eddie Dennis. In a freeway, El Fantasmo victorious over Ryan Smile and Curtis Chapman. Flash Morgan Webster beat Josh Bodom by DQ. So, therefore, Bodom retains the Cruiserweight title, but Bodom made sure he got himself disqualified, so I sense probably something coming down the line there for repercussions. And Travis Banks beat Mike Bailey in the main event. In terms of Destiny Wrestling stuff from Ontario, all I know is the fans ranted at Cornette for Santino, because obviously it's Santino's sort of somewhat promotion, or at least he's one of the brains behind the school that provides some of the talent. The one thing I do know about it is Pete Dunne retained the Destiny title over John Hennigan / Johnny Impact / Johnny Nitro / Johnny Mundo / John Morrison. Who knows? Loads of different names. With CWF Mid-Atlantic's Rumble show, Dirty Daddy beat Kane Justice to win the Rising Generation League title, and of course, because of the rules of the match, Kane Justice cannot go for the title ever again. Either ever again, or at least off Dirty Daddy. There can be no rematches, I think. Then in the six-man, Ethan Sharp, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham and Frankie Flynn beat Ian Maxwell, KL3 and the Playboy Buddy Ballantyne. Zane and Dave Dawson fought Mecha Mercenary and Aaron Biggs to a no contest when neither team could answer a 10 count from the ref. So last man not standing, I guess. Then the Worldwide TV title situation happened. This was interesting. So Lee Valiant attacked Jesse Adler before this match even happened. Despite that, Adler beat the champ, Eric Andrews, in 10 seconds with a roll-up, I'm guessing, to win. That was quick. Ridiculously quick. Boom. I'm trying to... In case you're wondering why I'm doing this... wow. The thing on my camera that says follow my face, it's not following my face. It's just like, yeah, I won't bother. It immediately turns it off. Whoa, I'm a bit too close there. That's a bit better. The masters of live editing when you're actually doing this thing. Jeez. Back to my notes. And Trevor Lee at number 1 managed to hold on and last eliminate Kane Justice to retain the Mid-Atlantic heavyweight title. Still. So now we get to some of the big stuff. AAW's Jim Liner Memorial Tournament. So in the first round, we had Zima Ion defeat Andrew Everett. ACH beat Kurt Stallion. Mark Haskins victorious over Eddie Kingston. Interesting because there was a promo before it with Eddie saying about winning the tournament to get his life back together and doing it for Jim Lynam. And he lost, so... Jeff Cobb beat Zachary Wentz as well in the tournament. Then in non-tournament action, in the middle, Phoenix retained the heavyweight title over Trevor Lee, and Swerve in Our Glory of Lee and Strickland beat the Suplex Bros of Sabre Jr. and Riddle in a pretty well-received tag match. And then the final 4 first-round matches, AR Fox beat Desmond Xavier, Myron Reed beat Brian Cage, Sammy Callahan beat Matt Fitchett, And Michael Elgin beats Penta. So then on to night 2. So in the second round, we had Zema Ion beat ACH, Michael Elgin beating Myron Reed, Jeff Cobb beat AR Fox, and Sammy Callahan victorious over Mark Haskins. Then we had Stephen Wolf, Andrew Everett, and Brian Cage all fall to the AAW debuting Teddy Hart. So yeah, this was a match that was surprise sprung on people. And apparently Teddy was in good form. That's all I know. Then with the semi-finals of the tournament, Elgin beat Zema Ion and Jeff Cobb beat Sammy Callahan. Following that, Besties in the World of Vega and Fitchett beat Paco and Eddie Kingston and Connor Braxton and Kurt Stallion. Then Paco challenged Connor Braxton to a Fans Bring the Weapons match for their show on November the 3rd. Then in a non-title Champions Challenge match, Phoenix and Penta beat Desmond Xavier and Zachary Wentz. Then Teddy Hart came out and basically said how he helped Penta and Phoenix early on in their training. Because of how well he was received earlier on in the night, he's going to be doing more dates. And the first one he will be doing is November 25th. So, the day after Black Friday. And was looking at the singles title of Phoenix's. And also at the Heritage title of Penta and saying, I'm coming for one of them. And Penta said, we're not kids anymore. We're AAW and we'd love to face you. And then Phoenix said, yeah, so do I. So I don't know if it's going to become like a triple threat title for title thing. I don't know. And the main event saw Elgin beat Cobb to become winner of the second tournament. With Elgin thanking the fans and everything, and he had 3 loves, his wife, his son, and fucking professional wrestling. And wants to become AAW champ somewhere down the line. So then we had CZW's Wolf of Wrestling. Kit Osborne beat David Starr in the opener. JT Dunn victorious over Johnny Silver, Space Monkey, and Trey Miguel in the 4-way. Matt Palmer beat Ace Austin. Shane Strickland retained the world title over Ethan Page. Ace Romero and Greg Excellent's match went to a no contest. From what I remember, somebody interfered and just beat the shit out of both of them. Then Mr. Claxton won the 4-way between Alex Colon, Brandon Kirk, and Ricky Shane Page under the CZW rules stipulation. The Carnies beat the Hooligans in the Storm of Entrails. I believe that was originally supposed to be just a straight tag, but it became triple threat. And then Maxwell Jacob Friedman, Feinstein, whatever you want to call him, was supposed to be facing Masada. I'm not sure why Masada wasn't there, may have been injured, I don't know. But instead it was Joey Janela. And Joey won. Which I don't know whether that's because of Tremont. Because he certainly, I don't know. From what I remember, he wasn't happy with Callahan. But have I been worked by that? But either way, Janela's the new Wired champ, so we'll see what happens with that. Shikara's Hour of Power, that was live streamed on the Shikaratopia thing. part of me wonders whether this was actually an hour. Wrong way again. Because there were 6 matches on this. One of which was even a title match of sorts. So we had Cornelius Crummels beat Hiptos Hank. Ophidian did win the Young Lions Cup off Razorhawk. Keep in mind, if you include the fact of, I can't remember who won the cup back earlier on in the year, Ophidian, the Whisper, whatever you want to call him, is the 6th different Young Lions Cup champ this year alone. And we've still got like 3 blocks of shows left. We got 2 as a doubleheader in October, 2 over consecutive nights in November, and possibly 2 in December. And who knows whether there's going to be more Hour of Power crammed in somewhere as well. My guess is there will be. Officer Warren Barksdale beat Petey the Package. Sonya Defarge victorious over Solo Darling. Silverhawk beat Hermit Crab. Afterwards, the Crab chokeslammed Silverhawk. So I guess that's what you get. Maybe. And Roy Gulak made Travis Huckabee submit. And the planned match between Oberian and Murlock never happened. I believe that's now been scheduled for the Chicago events next weekend. But we'll get to that next week. So Evolve's big shows this week. So Dominic Guarini beat Ryo, I guess in somewhat the pre-show. And Dickinson beat Jason Kincaid. And then afterwards, Paro, Odinson and Drennan from FIP showed up and destroyed Dickinson Kincaid. They're the end. That's what that whole tweet thing was about, how they're killing off the company. The reason why I say that is because the next match between Austin Theory beating Brandon Watts, the end destroyed both of them. And then Darby Allin beat Jarek 120. Jarek rolled under the ring to avoid it, and Darby Allin gets destroyed himself. And then they also destroy the security, and they also destroy a referee. The thing is, as a spectacle, it was interesting, but the problem is, if they were more established names, I think this proves how many people actually did watch FIP when it was on Flow Slam or not. You know, even when we covered it, part of the time I was like, here's a name I don't know, and here's a name I don't know. I recognise Paro as a pretty big guy. As in large, not popular. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to do a big stable that's going to destroy everything. But it's like, do we really need any of them in wrestling at the minute? Because I think we've got too many. We've got too many in WWE and its subsidiaries, including NXT. Hence, look at War Games. We've got too many in Japan. We haven't got enough in Ring of Honor because either one, they become Keith Lee and actually become good, or they become Shane Taylor and they just somewhat languish. But that sort of changed this past weekend. Or they're just singles wrestlers that do tag team matches from time to time. So, I don't know. That was the last we saw of them, at least for this show. We then had Tracy Williams beat Fred Yehai. Yaka beat Zack Sabre in a non-title match, so perhaps a title shot somewhere down the line. And Keith Lee beat Matt Riddle in the Last Man Standing match. So Keith Lee is the new WWN champion. Full credit to him, certainly. The following day, on the Sunday, in Connecticut, the PAPW kickoff matches had Matthias DiNapoli beat Nutritious X. Sergeant Murray retained the US title over Zafar Al-Raji. And the House of Pain of Hakeem Ali and Nick Payne beat Showtime, Marcel Williams and Ty Shine to retain the tag belts. So then with the main card, seems to be a lot here anyway. Shane Mercer beat Mikey Webb. Jarek 120 beat Brandon Watts. Dominic Guarini victorious over Cyrus Satine. Austin Theory beat Jason Kincaid. Keith Lee beat Darby Allin. The Doom Patrol retained the tag belts in the elimination match. First eliminating the Gymnasty Boys of Timmy Lou Retton and White Mike. And then eliminating the Ugly Ducklings of Lance Lude and Rob Killjoy to retain. Richard Holiday beat RJ Rude to retain the PAPW heavyweight title. Yeah, apparently that was that high on the card. Apparently also Paul Romer's to do with this PAPW, so... Oh shit. Paul Romer's relevant again. You know we're desperate. Fred Yehai beat Matt Riddle with a ref stoppage. I don't know whether that was Yehai capitalising on the fact that Riddle may not have been in the great frame of mind because he couldn't answer the 10 count the night before. And Zack Sabre Jr. retained the Evolve World title, beating Hot Sauce Tracy Williams with a European clutch pinfall. And then we get to Ring of Honor. Jeez. So, loads of stuff happened here. So, Buffalo. Night 1. We had a Women of Honor match as the pre-show with Deonna Purrazzo beating Sumi Sakai, with Purrazzo refusing to shake the hand afterwards. The show was being taped for VOD. Rhett Titus and Will Ferreira beat Coast to Coast. Kushida beat Hangman Page. And they did a whole one sweet deal. Jay Lethal beat Frankie Kazarian. Minoru Suzuki and the Killer Elite Squad beat Mark Machine and War Briscoe. Sorry, War Machine and Mark Briscoe. From what I remember, and it might actually it was on the Friday show when the injury happened. So we'll get to that. So then Bully Ray showed up and said he got injured at Death Before Dishonor and doesn't know what the future holds and hasn't been feeling good. You know, it's the first time he's been at a loss of words, and you know, he loves Buffalo, and if nothing else, he wants to thank the city for all they've done for him. And got on his knees and said thanks and teared up, and you know, the crowd just loved it. Part of me is feeling this is an angle to some crazy match at Final Battle in the Hammerstein. The reason why I say that is because this literally happened every night. We'll get to the rest of it though. Following on from that, Mandy Leon beat Jenny Rose in another Women of Honor match. Hiromu Takahashi beat Christopher Daniels, with Daryl being massively over. Cody and Marty Skull beat Toru Yano and Yoshihashi. Punishment Martinez beat Will Ospreay, and the Elite of the Bucks and Omega beat the Kingdom to retain the 6-man tag belts. The reason why? They've modernized the Freebird rules, so it's now the Bullet Club rules. Anybody from the club can be in the match with the 6-man belts on the line. And then there was a lot of Elite and cease and desist chants and whatever happening, and talking about the Bullet Club invasion, about you know, the freedom. They got the freedom to do what they want, and they won't get fired for taking a selfie with a friend or a fan. Again, it's pivotal. And then Matt said how they, you know, how well they've done and how they can feed their family so well. And then Nick went, well, at least we'll be able to see our families on Christmas, which is obviously a dig on the fact that the guys on Raw are going to be having to do live television on Christmas Day. And then Omega quoted Braveheart saying, "You'll never be able to take our freedom. You know, you may take our slogans, you may take our hand gestures, but you'll never take our freedom." That sort of deal, which was nice. So night 2 in Pittsburgh, Coast to Coast beat one-man team in the pre-show. Then the opening match, Takahashi and Briscoe, got stopped after only a few minutes. Takahashi declared the winner, but yeah, there were some kicks thrown by Takahashi, but then Briscoe rolled out the ring and the referee checked on him and sort of did the X and immediately called it off. From what it appears, Mark suffered a dislocated elbow. So it's not sure how long he'll be out for, but he's out for a bit. The Best Friends versus the Addiction never happened because the Addiction said they weren't going to wrestle. So Rhett Titus and Will Ferreira, the Dogs, replaced them. The Best Friends won it. Jay Lethal beat Jay White. The Mercury City Machine Guns beat the Kingdom and the Young Bucks to retain the tag belts. Then in the Women of Honor match, Deonna Purrazzo, Mandy Leon and Jenny Rose beat Faye Jackson, Britt Baker and Sumi Sakai. Kenny King won the Proving Ground Instant War match, beating... well, he hit 2 Raw flushes on Woods, said to be not executed perfectly. The match also had Punishment Martinez, Hangman Page, Matt Taven and Kushida. War Machine beat Killer Elite Squad. Then Bully Ray did another speech for Pittsburgh, saying he had a head injury and doesn't know if he'll ever wrestle again. Wanted to see the crowd in Pittsburgh one last time. Suzuki beat Silas Young. It's what's said to be a pretty decent match. The Bullet Club beat Chaos to retain the 6-man tag belts. This time it was Omega, Cody and Marty Scurll comprising of it. And from what I heard as well, considering this was the one that was like free streamed to people through the Ring of Honor membership stuff, the feed was actually pretty good and solid, so good to hear. Night 3 in Columbus. We had Addiction beat Search and Destroy. And Addiction basically cut a promo saying that Motor City Machine Guns are dodging them, so we'll destroy Search and Destroy instead. So then Kenny King came out and said how Mark Briscoe had dislocated his elbow. So he challenged Marty Scurll and Hangman Page to a fight, and saying that they were just a B club, they weren't the Bullet Club at all. And Scurll said, "Kenny, you couldn't even get a date on a TV reality show, so a dig at the Bachelorette stuff. And couldn't get a partner because nobody liked him." Which then led to Colt Cabana being Kenny King's partner, because he was there. Then Jay Lethal beat Takahashi. The Motor City Machine Guns beat Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser. Will Ferreira and Rhett Titus were on commentary for this one as well. Chaos of Ospreay, Yano and Yoshihashi beat Suzuki Gunner, Suzuki Archer and Davey Boy. BJ Whitmer was on commentary for the rest of the show because Cabana was obviously getting ready for his match. Yeah, basically the finish was Ospreay hitting Lance Archer with a springboard forearm and Yoshihashi rolling him up afterwards for the pin upset, I guess you're going to call it. Sumi Sakai beat Holly Dead in the Women of Honor match. Shane Taylor beat Josh Woods. King Cabana beat Skrull and Page. And then Cody beat Kushida, retained the world title. And then the Elite of Omega and the Bucks beat Beretta, Chuck Taylor, and Flip Gordon to, again, under the Bullet Club rules, if you want to call it that, to retain the 6-man tag belts. The thing is, they did it pretty much heavily, sort of like tying into the whole "where do you think you're going," the whole Flip Gordon Elite stuff. But the thing is, it did give them a chance to shine and get the full attention. So then the Chicago show, the pay-per-view, if you want to call it that. The reason why I can't classify it entirely as a pay-per-view, because it did have an interval in the middle. So Cody did an interview to start with, talking about, Roman Reigns wearing a vest to hide his gut and his failed drugs tests, and hiding his envy. Ring of Honor isn't an Indian, it's a club. And then he wanted Kerry Silkin to kiss his ring and refused to, and then brought a fan in who had a mask and a Cody t-shirt on. And he was there every night of the 4 nights. And the fan was like, couldn't get into the ring and struggling. And then the fan unmasked, ready to kiss the ring, and the fan was Dalton Castle. And Castle suplexed him and took him down and stared down on him and beat him down. I think there's your final battle match, everybody. Dalton might be a world champion by the end of this year. Oh, I cannot wait. So the opener saw Chucky T and... Silas Young and Beer City Bruiser beating the best friends of Chucky T and Beretta. Marty Scurll beat Hiromu Takahashi, reversing the time bomb into a chicken wing. Danielson Kazarian beat Kushida and Cheeseburger. So then Bully Ray came out and said about he wrestled in the building in '99 and lit a table on fire and ECW and teased a retirement thing, and for the first time he's got to worry about himself and his own health. And thank you Bully chants and all that, and got a piece of a broken table and brought a fan in and said, "You represent every single fan that I've been in front of. I can't thank every single one of them, so you'll represent everybody," and said thank you to him. Or thank you to them, sorry. And Bully said, "This is the last table that I'll ever break," and gave it to the kid to hold that table high in the air, and the fans were chanting the kid's name, and said, "Look, apologise for taking up too much time. I always wanted to wrestle in Ring of Honor, and if this is my last day, thank God that I got to actually wrestle in a Ring of Honor ring." Keep in mind, and we'll get to the card in a bit, the TV tapings are happening this weekend in Philadelphia, in the 2300 Arena, formerly known as the ECW Arena. Angle much? I personally think it's an angle. I think it is building to some sort of retirement, because I think Bully is probably winding down, but not yet. I think, not yet. So then, the Young Bucks, Adam Page and Cody, beat Search and Destroy of Sabin, Shelley, Gresham and White. Then the Dogs beat Brian Johnson and Justin Pusa. Then afterwards, Briscoe destroyed Johnson and Pusa and talked about Mark and said that they've got to get back to being the baddest tag team on the baddest tag team on the planet, and that Mark's just been worried about singles matches and TV titles and 6-man titles. Ice up that elbow and heal up quick, because it's time for us to take this stuff over. Clearly indicating they're wanting to get into the tag picture again, perhaps. Then Shane Taylor did an interview and said he gets paid to take people out and put people down. So he's replacing Briscoe in the 6-man tag. So it's him teaming up with Lethal and Kenny King to take on Suzuki Gun of Suzuki and the Killer Elite Squad. The thing is, they really did show off Taylor in this match. And really gave him the chance to shine. And he looked good, I will say. Colt Cabana and Toriano had a pretty solid comedy match. Ospreay and Flip Gordon were great as ever, as you'd expect with their high-flying acrobatic actions. And then Omega retained the US title against Yoshihashi. So then all the Bullet Club came out. Cody was saying, hold up your hand if you're a wrestling fan. And, you know, remember when wrestling was cool back in the mid-90s? You know, remember that, because wrestling's never been cooler now. Thanks, New Japan, and thanks, Atlas, the man who carries New Japan on his back. Also known as Kenny Omega. And Omega thanked everybody for all the merch sales and everything, and that he doesn't sell merch to impolite people, and everybody's been such a joy. Now, he isn't a full-time member of Ring of Honor. He represents New Japan by contract only, but really represents Bullet Club and the Elite. And, you know, the Elite is everybody that subscribes, and, you know, even the people that leave the disparaging remarks, you know, they're still motivation. Yoshihashi tried hard, but he's nothing more than a try-hard. If only this was on Twitch, then the people would spam the emo. Omega's suffering from jet lag, and it's after his bedtime. And then Matt said, look, before we go, we've got to take a Bullet Club selfie. But everyone's like, we ain't got our phones. Is there anybody in the crowd that has a phone? And he goes to the crowd, and just so happens, pretty much in the front row, the recently fired from WWE because of a selfie with the Bullet Club, Jimmy Jacobs. And Jacobs did the photo, and Nick's just like, sorry, we got your ass fired. And Omega went, come on, no profanity, Matt's a Christian boy. And then there was an F the revival thing, because there may be a cease and desist, but you can't stop the fans from doing it, I guess. So yeah, that's all that went down. I notice I'm going overly long already, so this video is going to be up really not a great time for Owen to put up. Apologies for that, even though he probably won't see this about an hour in, because he doesn't check these back. He trusts me. I trust myself. I don't trust my voice. It's still croaky as all hell. That's never going to go away, in case people are complaining about that, because I haven't looked at the comments in the last few days. So, this weekend, ICW's got 2 tour shows building up to Fear and Loathing. There's a show on Saturday in Sheffield. The big bits being a Sheffield Street Fight 3-way with Stevie Boy, Mikey Whiplash and Chris Renfrew. Polo Promotions versus the Kinky Party. Bram taking on Lionheart. DCT taking on Zach Gibson. The tag champs of Bird and Boar face the Bucky Boys of Stevie Boy and Davey Blaze. And BT Gunn defends the 0G title against Jimmy Havoc. Ooh, that might be fun. And then in Bristol, on Sunday, there's a 6-man tag main event with Bird Boar and Yestin Reese of the Marauders taking on Kenny Williams and Polo Promotions. BT Gunn defends the 0G title if he's still champ, which he'll have to be because that makes it awkward otherwise, against Bram. The Kinky Party face Joe Hendry and Leighton Buzzard. DCT taking on Big Grizzly. Mikey Whiplash and Sabrina face Stevie Boy and Kaylee Ray. And Lionheart versus Zach Gibson. The thing is, I'm saying on here, Flash Morgan Webster is scheduled to appear. I just need to check something, because I'm thinking in theory, that clearly can't happen, considering he's going to be in Los Angeles less than 24 hours before that. He'd have to fly straight into Glasgow. So part of me thinks Flash Morgan Webster is not going to be at the Fear and Loathing show in Bristol on Sunday. Because logistics. Ever so slightly. Rev Pro have got 2 shows. On the Sunday, they're in Leamington Spa in the Midlands. The big stuff on this one, Eddie Dennis versus Moose. Because you have to say it like that. Ryan Smile taking on Speedball Mike Bailey. Bubblegum versus Dave Mastiff. Mustache Mountain taking on the Hunter Brothers. That's actually the match that I saw those guys in when I first ever saw them. Back in the Shikara UK tour from 3 years ago. Wow. I feel old. And the tag champs will be both in action. Chris Brooks taking on Curtis Champion and Travis Banks facing Timothy Thatcher. The Banks thing is crucial. We'll get to that. And then Monday, Monday Night Mayhem in Portsmouth. On this one, Brooks and Banks are teaming up. I don't know whether they're defending their belts against Mustache Mountain. We'll have to see. Josh Bodom, the Cruiserweight champ, takes on Speedball Mike Bailey. We've got Dave Mastiff versus Moose. So I always have to stress it differently every time. Zach Gibson taking on Timothy Thatcher. Ryan Smile versus Rob Leas. Aussie Open take on Josh Wall and Curtis Chapman. And Vader Scott scheduled to be appearing as well. PWX up in Concord, North Carolina, has their unsanctioned show. The only stuff scheduled so far is possibly a match between White Mike against Effie. Not sure. Ethan Case taking on Tracer X. Lacey Lane versus Camilla Kane. A Tuxedo match between Mikey Galino and Tommy Thomas. I'm guessing that's some sort of duck tuxedo, maybe. The Lethal Lovers Open Challenge will probably be answered by somebody. Darius Lockhart defends the ITV title against Drew Adler. And the unsanctioned street fight between Corey Hollis and John Schuyler, the main event as it stands. That is this coming Saturday in Concord. This Friday, The Shining Wizard, because it's Halloween themed, because Shinning, let's do it like that. So there's going to be a scramble match with Dominic Guarini, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham, Derek Direction, Rob Matt, Ashugdi, and Kobe Durst. Probably more added, because that always seems to happen with freelance. Darren Corbin one-on-one with Jake Parnell. Superiority Complex face one of the best tag teams that I've heard of name-wise. The tag team name is the unfortunate pairing of Pat Monix and Elliot Paul. That's the actual name that's on the poster. What? Eric Cannon taking on Anthony Henry. Ethan Page versus Dingo. Bucky Collins versus Zach Gowen. And then the 2 title matches. GPA and Kylie Ray try to win the tag belts off the champs Team Beta. And then Stevie Fierce defends the world title against Space Monkey. Will it happen? Will it happen? The thing is, I don't whether I want it to happen, because Sugar Dunkerton has said whoever does become whoever does become champ will be basically challenged by him. So we'll have to see what happens there. House of Glory this Saturday in Queens at the NYC Arena. There's limited tickets available for this one, so you'll have to be careful. There's a few second row seats. General admission will be available on the door. Matches scheduled so far: Jay White versus Ken Broadway, Mia Yim taking on Sonia Strong, and Flip Gordon versus Anthony Gangon. And then the title matches: Leroy Green defends the Crown Jewel title against Evander James, and Amazing Red puts the House of Glory World title up against Michael Elgin. Also set to be part of it: NYWK, Brian Burgundy, Mantequilla, Private Party, Smiley and Juba, and more. And they'll also be revealing some big name, clearly, for the anniversary show that they've got coming up in mid-December. Next up, this Friday, Shine at the Orpheum in Ybor City, Florida, as it usually is. 5 matches known so far. Allysin Kay faces Brandy Lauren's Special Surprise. I'm wondering whether it's like, I can't remember who was her partner in Made in Sin. I should know. Because she's trying to make it very personal for AK, so if you get against her former tag partner, because I can't think of who it is off the top of my head. Hang on. Made in Sin, AK-47. No, not bloody... It doesn't work if you put Made in Sin, Tailor Made. That's what I'm wondering whether it's Tailor Made. Because it says Special Surprise. So that's my guess. We've also got Candy Cartwright against Jordan Grace. Priscilla Kelly defends the Shine Nova title against Santana Garrett. Just says Santana on here. I'm pretty sure she does have an actual name, guys. Lufisto defended the world title against Vanessa Craven. That should be an interesting match. And then the personal one, or at least it's become personal from the videos, the Las Sicarias of Mercedes Martinez and Ivelisse take on the Twisted Sisters of Holly Dead and Thunder Rosa. Also set to be part of the show, ACR, Ariel Monroe, Dementia DeRose, Aya Pereira, and Dominique Fabiano, amongst probably more and others and stuff. So the Ring of Honor TV tapings, the only match that we know of is the Women of Honor match with Deonna Purrazzo and Karen Q. All the big names there are there, though. Cody. It doesn't list Dalton Castle, but I'm pretty sure he's there. And he's going to be in some sort of action to build up to Final Battle. The Motor City Machine Guns will be there. The Hung Bucks of Adam Page and the Bucks. Marty Skull, Jay Lethal, The Best Friends, Beer City Bruiser and Silas Young, Bully Ray, Matt Taven, Jay Briscoe, probably not Mark, I'm guessing. War Machine, Punishment Martinez, Josh Woods, The Dogs of Titus and Ferreira, Gresham, Gordon, Taylor, Cheeseburger, and Coast to Coast. They'll all be in action. There'll also be autograph sessions beforehand with the Bullet Club guys and Kenny King and John Gresham and Mandy Leon and Silas Young. And then Bully Ray will be doing stuff during the intermissions as well. The usual charges apply. Go to Ring of Honor Wrestling, ROHWrestling.com for all the details. Then we get to probably the big two. The one that everybody can watch for free, although I would recommend you donate what you can via subscriptions and all that. Wrestle Circus. Return. Limited general tickets are available, so most of people will be having to watch it live on stream. Like I guess. I'm not sure. Starts at 6 local time, so actually come to think of it, I haven't even got the actual venue because they moved. Wrestle Circus. Do we have the venue listed? I think it's still in Austin. They stuck around there. Texas Power Athletics. That's the venue where it's happening now. Or perhaps it's April Hunter. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the Shine stuff. So the match is confirmed so far. We've got the Team Jervis versus Team Austin big feud culminator. People are still being announced, though, as we speak, as of recording. So, as it stands, Team Jervis is Jervis himself, along with Supercop Dick Justice and Christy James. 2 more people need to be added to that. And then Team Austin, the ref, comprises of Dirty Andy Dalton, Unholy Gregory James, And the most interesting one of the three, Rockstar Spud, so he's going to be part of the festivities, if you will. There's also going to be a triple threat with Jeff Cobb, Lance Hoyt, and Maxwell Jacob Freeman. Then the battle of the mixed tag couples, or the mixed tag pairings. One's a couple because it's John Morrison and Taya Valkyrie, and the other sort of is being Candice and Joey. Even though they're obviously not a couple because Gargano. We've also got Scorpio Sky taking on Sammy Guevara. Tessa Blanchard defends the Sideshow title against Dave Christ. Extra Talented put the tag belts up for grabs against Scarlett and Graves. Sami Callihan one-on-one with Jordan Lennox. And the Ringmaster title on the line. Shane Strickland defending against Brian Cage. And then PWG, the All-Star Weekend. So, in case you're wondering why Travis Banks is working the UK shows, basically he's having to reapply for his visa at the minute, so he doesn't have a passport, so he can in no shape or fashion make it to the shows in California, in Reseda. So, he's been taken off the shows, or he's basically said he won't be able to make them. So there's going to have to be some last-minute muddling and everything, which there already has been, to some extent. So it's now been changed up that Penta's now available for Friday. So the main event is now becoming Phoenix and Penta defending the tag belts against the Chosen Bros and Matt Riddle and Jeff Cobb. Because of that, the other changes are that there's going to be a three-way with Ray Horus, Sammy Guevara, and Flamita. And there's going to be Keith Lee now faces Jonah Rock in singles action. The other adjustment that will need to be made, though, is Flash Morgan Webster against somebody, because obviously his scheduled opponent, Travis Banks, won't be able to make it there. The other matches, though, Ricochet versus Volta, Joey Janela taking on Trevor Lee, and Adam Brooks taking on Mark Haskins. And then the Saturday show, night 2, we've got Ray Horus versus Matt Sydal, Adam Brooks taking on Jonah Rock, Travis Banks' replacement facing Trent, Joey Janela goes one-on-one with Marty Scurll, the Young Bucks face Mark Haskins and Flash Morgan Webster, Zack Sabre Jr. one-on-one with Volta, and Chuck Taylor puts the world title up for grabs against Ricochet. Obviously, those guys will be flying. I mean, certainly Chuck and Trent and the Bucks and Marty will have flown in overnight, I'm guessing, from Philly to make those shows. So they're still part of the All-Star Weekend, but not probably in the fashion that people would have liked. There you go. This video went too long, which probably means I need to cut stuff down for next time. Then again, I didn't even talk about the Impact bloody pizza. I might have to save that for an actual sort of news video if I do it later this week. Because, one, I need to see what this is. Because the actual press conference where this is being unveiled is on Friday in Ottawa. Because reasons. Impact Pizza. Because basically some pizza place is being the main sponsor for the show and all the tapings in Canada that are happening around it. The problem is Owen isn't here to sort of defend it or not defend it, because that'd be the interesting bit. Either way, certainly I'll be reviewing TLC for you on Monday. I'll be hoping to do something wrestling-wise as well. I do want to do a gaming video as well, because I feel rather passionately about EA's decision to close Visceral Games. I want to get some stuff off my chest about that. There may be a sip and snack as well. I need to queue up a few more as well, just in case I need to fill that up for time and everything. Anyway, video's gone on too long. It's probably going to take 7 hours to get over to Owen, thanks to my crappy internet connection because of where I live. So, until next time, boys and girls, although considering the swearing in this video, hopefully boys and girls aren't watching, either way, that's all we've got to say about that.